So, welcome to Bhakti Steps. Um, there are prayers on my screen. You can repeat with me. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika. Vande Aham Shri Guru Shivtapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगत गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So welcome to Bhakti Steps. We'll continue with Science of Self-Realization, chapter number 7, and feel compassion. I think this is done. They have everything to Krishna, and that is never a mistake. They gave everything. Okay, this one is also done. This letter.
You're sharing the screen, Prabhuji?
Wait, sorry, I didn't share. Okay, you can see the screen, right? Okay. Apichetsu Duracharo. Yeah, what is best and most beautiful?
I think you have to start from here, right? This section.
An awareness of what is best and most beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Irish poet. Okay. In Rome during May of, so this is a meeting in Rome. I guess that's Italy. In 1974, May of 1974, Srila Prabhupada meets Mr. Desmond Graham's Bernard O'Grady, a noted Irish poet. He is a poet. My request to you is this: you're a poet. So now everyone has a different inclination, psychophysical nature. So this person is a poet. He said, just describe God. You are expert in describing, and therefore I ask you to kindly describe God in your occupation. Then your life will be successful. So basically, whatever our psychophysical nature is there, inclination is there, we should see that how we can serve Krishna through that, and then our life will be successful. So this whole uh, discussion will go on that. So I need someone to volunteer to read Srila Prabhupada and someone to read Mr. O'Grady. Can two people volunteer?
Okay, bro.
So you will read. Uh,
I can also read Prabhu.
okay. So Prabhuji, you read Mr. O'Grady, and Mataji, you read Srila Prabhupada. Start your edition.
Okay. 1 minute. Okay.
Hmm.
Your edition of the Bhagavad Gita is very nice.
It is the fifth edition in 2 years.
In which country has the Hare Krishna movement the most successful?
Everywhere in Africa, America, Canada, Japan, China. But actually, it has been more successful in America. Many Americans have taken to Krishna consciousness.
What about here in Rome? Have you had problems with the police?
We have problems everywhere. Police sometimes harass us, but usually they become tired and eventually don't do anything. Laughter.
The system give up. That's marvelous. I feel very tired of the system myself. Sometime something is sorry. Okay. I feel very tired of the system myself. Something is wrong with the present state of affairs. Maybe you can give me some advice on how to beat the system.
You Irish people, you are never tired of fighting.
No, it's inside us.
Actually, the fighting has been going on constantly.
Well, what do you suggest we do about it? I mean, is it morally correct for me to be sitting here?
As long as we remain illusioned by bodily conception of life, thinking we are these bodies, one man thinking I'm Irish, another thinking I'm Italian, American, Indian, and so on. As long as this goes on, the fighting will go on. You cannot stop fighting between dogs and cats. Why do they fight? The dog simply thinks I'm a big dog, and the cat thinks I'm a big cat. In the same way, we think I'm an Irishman or I'm an Englishman, then we are no better than cats and dogs. As long as people remain in a bodily conception of life, there will be fighting.
What was Mahatma Gandhi fighting in the House of Commons?
That was another dogism. There is no difference. A dog thinks I'm a dog because he has a body of a dog. If I'm thinking that I'm an Indian because this body was born on Indian soil, then how am I different from the dog? The bodily concept of life is simply animalism. When we understand that we are not these bodies but are the spirit souls, there will be peace. Now, there cannot be any peace otherwise. Sa eva go graha. The Vedic literature state that a person in the bodily concept, the bodily concept, one second, Prabhu.
Yeah.
There cannot be any peace. Yeah. A body concept of life is exactly like a cow or an ass. People have to transcend this inferior conception of self. How is that done? Mam chayo vyabhi chari charina Bhakti yogena sevate saguna samatitya titya tityatitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. One who engage in the spiritual activities of unalloyed devotional service at once transcends the modes of material nature and is elevated to spiritual platform. Bhagavad Gita 14.26.
So wait,
In
wait,
our
wait.
sorry, yeah, Prabhu.
Uh, if I'm thinking I'm Indian because this body was born on Indian soil, then how am I different from the dog? We all think we are Indian. Are we allowed to think Indian, or are we have we become equal to dog just because thinking that I am Indian? What is this understanding of this statement?
If I think that I'm Indian because this body was born.
On Indian soil, then how am I different from the dog? So
So,
is it?
Prabhu, if I can, yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Prabhu. No, so Prabhu, my understanding is that clearly because it is just about thinking on the body, right? We are not thinking beyond that. Like the dog always can't think beyond the nature of the dog that is always hungry, eating, mating, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Similarly, if you're talking about that we are Indian, we are American, so we are just talking about our materialistic features, characteristics. Is that's what my understanding is.
Okay. Okay. Any other point?
So, Prabhu, actually, dog also thinking bodily level, and we are also thinking at bodily level. So there
Hmm.
is no difference between us and the dog. So
Yeah.
no, God has given us to understand basically to inquire further. See, body, okay, every
Hmm.
dog also seeing, I am also seeing. But what is within the body, how I am different from the body, that thinking process human life only it can be done, not in other
Right,
body.
right. Exactly. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. See, the second line Prabhupada says the bodily concept of life is simply animalism. So if we remain in this bodily concept, then we basically go down to animalism. Okay. So we need to rise from this understanding. It is not that we have to reject this understanding, we have to rise from this understanding. Okay. So that understanding is there. Hmm? So what is the understanding? Can you read?
Yeah. In a society, there are many Mexicans, Canadians, Indian, Jews, and Muslims, but they no longer consider themselves Muslim, Christians, Jews, or whatever. They all are servants of Krishna. This is Brahman realization.
Yeah. So if the consciousness, if the yeah, if the consciousness is raised to the level of the soul, where it's getting connected to Krishna as the das of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna, then that is Brahman realization, and this understanding is it rises us from animalism basically.
Okay. uh, that's that's giving it a name also.
Yes, a name must be there. But although, for example, your name is different from that of other Irishmen, you nonetheless all feel that you are Irish. One's name may be different, but that doesn't matter. The quality should be one that is required. When we acquire Krishna's quality, then despite different names, there will be peace. This is also called this that is called Soham.
Soham.
Yeah, the names of different people in a nation may be different, but all people feel the same nationality. Varietiness may exist, but if the quality is the same, that is oneness, Brahma Bhuta.
Now wait. Let's say you go to a marriage, and that marriage is of your friend. Okay. How you do like you see so many people there, you know, and you attending your friend's marriage. What kind of thoughts go into your mind? How do you feel in that marriage? Do you feel connected? Do you feel odd person out? Do you feel lonely, alone, or you are able to mix with everyone?
Yes, Prabhu, when there is marriage of my friend, then definitely the known faces I will see. So I will be, feeling connected that, there is special day of my nearer one,
Okay.
and I'm enjoying along with.
Generally, when we go to any friends or let's say even neighbors' marriage or something like that, we get to meet more of their family members and all that, right? And
Yes.
we basically cannot connect with them because we are seeing them for the first time. But let's say we go to a marriage which is in our own family, extended family. There we can connect with everyone. Why? Because every one of them is one big family, right? There you don't feel lonely. So in a friend's marriage there is a possibility that you may feel lonely because you are the only one connected with the boy, but with everyone else you are not so connected. But when you go to a marriage which is within your caste, within your extended family relatives, you start connecting more and more and more because everybody is having the same surname, the same caste. Okay. So the point is that names may be different, but the immediate, but the moment we can make connection, if there is a commonness that we can connect with others, when we find that common thing between others, right, then we can easily connect. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. You may be Irish, other person may be Irish, but you both can connect because you both think you are Irish. You're getting? So on the spiritual platform, when we have to connect with so many people, then what is required? What kind of understanding is required? What is the common thing between everyone?
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Krishna is common, that's there. Another thing,
We are the part and parcel of the Krishna.
we are part and parcel of the Krishna, yes.
Yeah.
Another,
So, so we are,
everyone is a spirit soul.
yeah,
Everyone will
everyone.
say so.
Yeah, so that's
And
the
the
most
uh,
important concept. Like they may be externally, maybe different names and all that, but internally, everyone is a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So that's
Mm.
how we start connecting with them. Hmm? So that's what Prabhupada also says. So many are there from various religions, nationalities, but they have all connected as part and parcel of the same Krishna. So that is Brahman realization. And here the verse he's saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochti na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Sama means equal, everyone. So he is now equally disposed to everyone. Mad bhaktim labate para. So one who's transcendent situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. So supreme Brahman he realizes in everyone. He sees the supreme Brahman also, and he sees the Brahman also. Like he sees the individual Jivatma also. And he never laments nor desires to have anything. He's equally disposed to every living entity. Because now he sees, oh, everyone is connected to him on the spiritual platform. May not be on the material platform, but on the spiritual platform, everyone is connected. In that state, he attends pure devotional service unto Krishna. Let me complete this. This world is a miserable for materially infected person, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha. For the impersonators, achieving the Brahman stage becomes one with the Absolute is the last word. Let's go ahead. Continue reading.
is the absolute uh, external or internal?
There is no external or internal. The absolute is without duality.
Okay, but on an individual level,
We are not absolute. When we are situated on the absolute platform, we are absolute. However, now we are in the relative world. The absolute truth is here also, but our senses are not sufficiently elevated to understand that absolute truth. As long as we are under the control of time, there is no question of becoming absolute.
so absolute means life beyond time.
That is stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma chame divyam evam ya yeti tatva devam punarjanam naiti mam eti. So Arjuna, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities, does not upon leaving the body take this birth again in this material world, but attain my eternal abode, O Arjuna. That is absolute going back to Godhead. As long as one is in the material world and identifies with this body, he transmigrates from one body to another. That is not absolute. This is clearly stated here, where when one goes back to the spiritual world, he attains the absolute position. Hari Bol.
All right, but this is my question. Is it sufficient for us to sit here? You sitting, uh, you sitting there, then, and we,
We as friends.
and we as friends sitting with you, engaging in the gentle art of conversation while across the ocean.
The point you have missed is that although you are sitting in one place and I'm sitting in a different place, the difference does not affect our actual existence. We are both human beings. The conception of Irishman, Englishman, Protestant, Catholic, and so on are but different dresses. One has to become free from these resignations. When one is thus free, he becomes purified. सर्वोपाधि विनिर्मुक्तं तत् तत् one second हाँ तत् प्रातवेन निर्मलं ऋषिकेश सेवनं भक्तिर उच्यते Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.1.12. When you have purified your senses and engaged those purified senses in the service of the master of the senses, Krishna, you have perfected your life. That is non duality and that is absolute.
But the system insists that you think yourself American or Indian or African or whatever.
Yes, materialistic society means duality.
But that is unavoidable. How can you avoid material existence?
That is possible in Krishna consciousness. The lotus lives in the water but never touches the water.
I don't think you can explain situation in one area with metaphors from another. How can you argue political problems in terms of vague spiritual concepts? Their nature is completely different.
Sometimes a variety of example helps us to understand or appreciate the problem better. In the vast, there is a variety of flowers, and that variety helps us better appreciate the idea of flowers. But from any point of view, Krishna can resolve all problems. Why just the problems of Irishmen or Englishmen? All problems. That is called unity in diversity. Our students come from different backgrounds, but because they all are in Krishna consciousness, they are unified.
Very good. Yes, I accept that. I would like to know, though, that when you say Krishna consciousness, is there is there any difference between that and and Christ consciousness?
No, there is no difference. Christ came to preach the message of God. If you actually become Christ conscious, you become Krishna conscious.
And does becoming Krishna conscious or God conscious means becoming self conscious? That is that is conscious of who we really are.
Yes, God conscious in consciousness includes self consciousness, but self consciousness is not necessarily God consciousness.
But it may be
No,
one may achieve consciousness of the God that is within.
that means he is God conscious. You are now in the sunlight, and consciousness of sun includes your ability to see yourself in the darkness. You cannot see yourself. At night, you can't even see your own hand or leg. But if you become before the sun, you you can see the sun and yourself also. Without sunlight, without God consciousness, self consciousness is incomplete. However, God consciousness makes self consciousness very clear.
We meet a lot of young people in our teaching profession, and we don't try to teach them any kind of didactic salvation. We do try to direct them towards an awareness of what is best and what is most beautiful and what is most spiritually nourishing in the world about them. That is, insofar as the system allows us. Very frequently, the students are not neutral enough to be in a spiritual condition. They are more in an emotional one. What what we are faced with often is the basic question of who am I or what is it all about?
Yes.
Or they ask why I am here.
Yes. Very good.
We, uh, we, we are asked why should I be here? Who are you, teacher, and what gives you the right to tell us what to think or what to be or what not to be? Why should I read Shakespeare? Why should I listen to Mozart? I prefer Bob Dylan. There, these kind of questions seems to emanate from a very disillusioned state of mind and insecurity and uncertainty and a lack of credibility in the total. structure of things as they are. Frequently, we have to answer these questions in a cataclysmic sort of way. Rather than presenting direct answers, we must answer indirectly, taking account of the condition that prompted students to ask these questions in the first place. Do you think that we should try to reach them more directly?
You're talking about the problem of.
Modern education.
Yes, so many questions are there, but they are not answered by modern education. Why have I come here? What is the purpose? These questions should be answered perfectly. Therefore, the Vedas enjoin tat
Vigna,
vinarthantam
Vignartham sa
vidya.
gurum evabhigachyate.
To find answers, to find answers to all these questions, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master.
What if you have none? What if we are told that Mr. Nixon is the bona fide spiritual master? What do we do?
Wait. See, few things he's asking, and we need to understand the context. Okay, so I'll just go back. Mr. O'Grady, right? There's a particular context that he's trying to put here. Um, First of all, uh, hmm, yeah. First of all, he is worried of the political problems. Okay, he's saying we are talking here very nicely, but in other parts of the world, so many wars are going on, so many fights and arguments are going on based on these concepts. Which concepts that you are American, I am Indian, like that kind of the system pulls you that. And how can it be possible that Krishna consciousness can do it? That is one of the things that he's trying to ask Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada gives some answer. Hmm? He says unity in diversity it is. And he gives the example of his own society and he accepts it partly. Then he says, okay, is Krishna consciousness same as Christ consciousness? Then he says, Christ came to preach the message of God, therefore it is same. So can we become self-conscious also? Hmm? Or we just become God conscious or what it is. So Prabhupada then explains God consciousness includes self-consciousness. Self-consciousness, according to Mr. Grady, is to understand who we are, as a human being, like that. But what happens in so many spiritual societies, like they put so much focus on God that people forget about themselves. So there is this concept that you should first try to understand who you are and all that. So that's what he's trying to say. Prabhupada says no, God consciousness includes self-consciousness. And he gives the example of sun. So he says God is like a sun. In front of the sun, you are able to see yourself also. So therefore, it includes self-consciousness. Okay. And then he gives the problem that every education society has, that people ask very good questions, but we don't have answers. Like, who am I? What is it all about? Why I'm here? Why should I be here? Why should I only read this and that? What is the reasoning for all these things? And he says that's the problem of modern education. And therefore, Prabhupada says one should approach a spiritual master. Then he asks the very classic question. Anyone can stand up and say he's a bona fide spiritual master, which is the problem in this material world, right? People say I am God, or people say God sent me. And we see within India and outside of India, there are many people who will do like this, and they will start a cult. Okay, they will start a following, they will influence people, and some will go to the extremes and commit suicides also. So there were many cases of this mass suicides and all that. So he's asking a very classic question that anyone can stand. Like he tells, at that time Mr. Nixon was the president of America. So is he the spiritual master? If he stands, what happens? So we were here, right? So so you understand what he's asking? He's asking that people get uh, common man gets influenced by others. Whoever may stand up and say with some authority, they may say, I am God, or God has sent me. We see sometimes, right? Common people, they just simply accept him and they start following that person. So he's asking from that context. And so let's continue. Any question at this point? Any question?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay.
It's a conversation.
Okay. Continue this part of conversation. Now you understand, right? What he's trying to ask. Okay. Continue. No.
Yes, Prabhu. No, no. There is standard for bona fide spiritual masters. You have only heard one line of the verse. Who is the spiritual master? That is the next line. Shrotyam Brahma Nishtham. The word
Shotriyam.
Shrotya, Shrotya refers to one who has heard from another bona fide source. A spiritual master is one second. A spiritual master is the one, is he who has taken the message from another qualified spiritual master. This is just like a medical man who has taken the knowledge of medical science from another medical man. Similarly, the bona fide spiritual master must come in line of the successive spiritual masters. The original spiritual master is God.
Yep.
Yes, granted. One who has heard from God explain the same message to his disciples. If the disciples does not change the message, he is bona fide spiritual master. That is a process. We take lessons by hearing from Krishna, God, and from him understand who is perfect, or we hear from his representatives who does not contradict Krishna and who has realized his message. It is not that we speak one thing and do all nonsense. One who does so is not a spiritual master.
Can anyone read, Mr. O'Grady?
Yes, Prabhuji. So now there's my poor old father living in Western Ireland, a simple old man, 78 years now, your generation. He has gotten to the point at his age where he says, they tell me, the priests, they tell me ultimately that it's God who knows. But I want to know who told God. Then he comes to me and says, you went to school and you read books. Tell me who told God. So I have no answer. That is the difference between 78 and 39 years.
Okay, see, the point he's saying is, everyone has a simple question. Okay, it is not properly answered. Who told God? Why should I listen to the priest only? How to know if the priest is telling me right? So he's coming from that background.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, it is not a difference of age. Difference is knowledge. In Brahma Sutra, the question is raised, who is God? First of all, there is a question.
Who taught God?
No, first of all, there is a question, who is God? Then, who should ask who taught God? The Vedanta Sutra says,
Athayato
Athato
Brahma Jigyasa.
Brahma Jigyasa. Now we should inquire who is God. Unless you know who God is, how can you raise the question of who instructed God? If you don't know God, the question does not arise who instructed God.
Yes.
Is this not so?
Yes.
Who God is explained in Brahma Sutra. Vinadim Aya
Janmadhyasya Yataha.
Asvata. God is He from whom everything emanates. That is God, the supreme being from whom everything emanates. Now, what is the nature of supreme being? Is he a dead stone or a living entity? What that is also explained. Janmadi asyo yato navya itrada ita
Itaratas
itrada
Charthaveshi Abhignaha Swarat.
Right, Swarat. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. The Supreme Being is fully cognizant of everything, directly and indirectly. Unless he is fully cognizant of everything, he cannot be God. Then the question that you raised comes, who taught God? And that is also answered, Swarat. He is fully independent. He does not need to take lessons from anyone. That is God. If one needs to take lesson from others, he is not God. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, and he did not have to learn from anyone. I had to learn it from my spiritual master, but Krishna did not have to learn it from anyone. One who does not need to take lessons from others is God.
Wait, wait,
Where does
wait.
human
So,
lack
so
of
this question, right? Who is God? Why this question, who is God, is more important? Hmm? Why this question, who is God, is more important? Any thoughts?
because that's the confusion in the entire society deals with. So many concocted
Yeah, of course. There is so
ideas
many
emerge.
concocted. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is one point. Any other way you want to explain?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, to understand the difference between a god and a non-god.
Yeah. Okay. Can
Prabhu, people think that they
Hmm.
are themselves God. There is
Okay.
no God.
Yeah, there is no God. They are themselves God. God is there, but he is not powerful enough to stop the evils of this world, or God is dead, right? So,
And plus, also, Prabhu, in our society, especially in India, there's so many varieties of God, right? There are too
oh yeah,
many.
yeah, yeah. There are too many varieties of God. Then
So,
who is the
so
supreme God? Or
so
there is so many. It's a team of crore people and all that. Okay, okay,
So we're
okay.
always confused about who
Hmm.
exactly the God people, because now in the new terminologies, people have started calling it universe. Universe is manifesting. Universe is doing. So people have started even talking in that language also.
Yeah, yeah. That is also okay to say. Universe is manifesting and all that. That is okay because that's how Krishna set it up. I'll talk about that point. But before that, there's one example that Prabhupada gives, or you must have heard. There is sugarcane and bamboo. If you look at both of it, they look almost the same, right? But let's say if you are going to buy sugarcane in the market, first you should need to know what is sugarcane, because one may get cheated and one may be sold bamboo, right? One may buy bamboo and come. So what is the definition of sugarcane that you will say? Let's say your own child is going to buy sugarcane. So what is the first thing that you have to say to him?
Obviously,
Sugarcane
it will be
is
sweet.
sweet. So the moment he goes to a shop and the shop shows that okay, this is sugarcane. So what is your child going to do? He's going to bite it and see if it is sweet or not. So he can avoid being cheated, right? So that's why we need to know who is God, so that we can avoid being cheated. It's a very simple uh, thought, but it's
Prabhu,
very
can you
important.
just explain it again? Sorry, no, I got a little distracted. So difference between sugarcane and bamboo.
They both look the same. How will
Okay.
you know? How will you know that you are buying a sugarcane? Both look the same.
Hmm. Unless we taste it or probably see it.
Yeah. So first we
But
should know that sugarcane is sweet,
hmm.
right? Because we can taste bamboo also. But first we should know at least that okay, sugarcane tastes sweet. So that if we taste bamboo and it won't taste the sweet, so that we can then reject the bamboo and we can say this is not sugarcane. Getting? So that's why the question who is God is more important. So that once the definition is clear, then all the cheating ones can be removed. Okay. And Prabhupada gives the example of 1.1111 from Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Yatah. Everything emanates from God. And that whole verse is there, which gives a very big definition of God. He's Swarat, fully independent. He's Abhigna, fully cognizant. He knows everything. So like that, we can then get the answer. Then, yeah.
Where does human love come from?
Prabhuji, anybody else wants to read? Mantra Mataji or Ramesh Prabhu or anybody else?
Yeah,
Sure,
someone
sure.
else.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, continue reading. Prabhupada.
Everything is coming from God. Being part and parcel of God, we manifest partial love because the original love is there in Him. Nothing can exist if it is not in God. Therefore, love is there in God.
And manifestations of love are manifestations of God.
Unless the loving propensity is there in God, how can we manifest it? A son born of a particular father has the symptoms of the father. Because the loving propensity is in God, we have that same propensity.
See, wait. See, this point now is very, very important. Where does human love come from? Prabhupada says that also comes from God. And Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He says a son is born of a particular father. He shows the symptoms of that father. Okay. So we can know the nature of the father by looking at the son, right? Hmm? We can know a nature of a person by interacting with their children. It's like that because they will show the similar symptoms. So it's a very nice, powerful example.
Maybe love is generated in you by the need.
No, there is no question of maybe. We are defining God in absolute terms. Janmadi asya yata. God is He from whom everything has emanated. The fighting propensity is also there in God, but His fighting and His loving are absolute. In the material world, we experience that fighting is just the opposite of loving, but in God, the fighting propensity and the loving propensity are one and the same. That is the meaning of absolute. We learn from the Vedic scriptures that when the so-called enemies of God are killed by God, they attain liberation.
Is it possible to arrive at this understanding of God alone?
No. Therefore, we have cited this verse, Tadvijnanartham sa gurum eva bhavichet. The word abhigachet means must. It is not possible alone. In Sanskrit grammar, this is called the vigilin form of a verb. And this form is used when there is no choice. The word abhigachet means that one must approach a guru, that is the Vedic version. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that Arjuna was talking to Krishna. But when he saw that things were not being resolved, he surrendered himself to Krishna and accepted him as his guru.
Wait. Why is he asking this question? Can I achieve to this understanding of God alone? What is the problem with him? Why is saying alone I'll achieve? Why do you think people think like this? Did you think like that? Alone I can achieve previously.
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Anyone else? Why do you think some people want to achieve God alone?
Maybe they don't have trust in anyone else.
Yeah. What is their practical experience? What do they
Cheating
hear from the society?
because they had cheat.
They
They were
hear about cheating only, right? So many Babajis they cheat on the name I am God, I will show you God, I'll give you secret mantra, you have to pay so many things about to me. And then one day they'll be caught by police and put into jail. This scam, that scam, this abuse. Hmm? So people are frustrated. It's not just in India, but everywhere else. People are frustrated. They want to do it all alone only. They don't want
But is it
anybody in
so
between.
much in abroad, in the Western world also, Prabhuji? In India, okay, it's very prevalent.
Yeah,
But
in abroad also it is there. Abroad also it is there. There are many things actually. There was sexual abuse in the Christian church, which was found in the 2000s.
yeah, that is happening even today also. But on the
No,
God
so these
concept itself.
things, these things trigger people to think
Okay.
in this way. And see, this discussion is happening in the 70s only,
Mm.
so it keeps coming up. Okay, it's not like it's a recent thing. And there are many examples where people will cheat in the name of God. So educated people, this guy is educated, right? He says, "Na 39, I went to university, this that."
Mm.
So people start thinking they want that independence. They don't want somebody in between. Okay, and he's going to ask the same similar thing. He's not going to leave this point so easily. कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभाव प्रच्छामि त्वं धर्म समूढ़ चेताः यश्रेयान् स्यान् निचितं भूरि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं साधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost my composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. I am your disciple and soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. This is Bhagavad Gita 2.7. Here we can see Arjuna is confused about his duty. This is one of the prayers in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, we can uh, we can memorize this prayer and we can pray to Krishna the same prayer. Okay, continue.
Is this duty to the self, to others, or to the state?
A soldier's duty is to fight with the enemy. Arjuna was a soldier and Krishna advised him. The opposite party is your enemy and you are a soldier. Why are you trying to be non-violent? This is not good. Then Arjuna said, actually, I'm confused. In this confusion, I cannot make the right decision. I therefore accept you as my spiritual master. Please give me the proper lesson. In a chaotic condition, in a confused state of life, one should approach another who is in full knowledge of the matter. You go to a lawyer to solve legal problems, and you go to a physician to solve medical problems. Everyone in the material world is confused about spiritual identity. It is therefore our duty to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give us real knowledge.
I am very confused.
So you must approach a spiritual master.
And he makes a decision on how to help me stop this confusion.
Yes, the spiritual master is one who solves all confusion. If the spiritual master cannot save his disciple from confusion, he is not a spiritual master. That is the test. Samsara dhava nalalidha loka pranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam tapatsya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru shri charnaravinda. This whole confused world is just like a blazing forest fire. In a forest fire, all the animals are confused. They do not know where to go to save their lives. In the blazing fire of the material world, everyone is confused. How can that blazing forest fire be extinguished? It is not possible to utilize your man-made fire brigade, nor is it possible to simply pour buckets of water. The solution comes when rain from the clouds fall on the forest fire. Only then can the fire be extinguished. That ability is not in your hands, but it's in the is in the mercy of God. So human society is in a confused state and it cannot find a solution. The spiritual master is one who has received the mercy of God and he can deliver the solution to the confused man. One who has received the mercy of God can become a spiritual master and deliver that mercy to others. Hari Bol.
The problem is to find the spiritual master.
That is not the problem. The problem is whether you are sincere. You have problems, but God is within your heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. God is not far away. If you are sincere, God sends you a spiritual master. Therefore, God is also called Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within the heart. God helps from within and from without. Everything is thus described in the Bhagavad Gita. This material body is like a machine, but within the heart is the soul. And with the soul is the super soul, Krishna, who gives direction. The Lord says, you wanted to do this. Now, here is the chance. Go and do it. If you are sincere, you say, now God, I want you. Then He will give you direction. Yes, now you come and get me like this. This is His kindness. However, if we want something else, that is all right. We can have it. God is very kind. When I want something, He is in my heart directing me and telling me how to have it. So why should He not give directions on how to have a spiritual master? First of all, we must again be eager to revive our God consciousness. Then God will give us a spiritual master.
Thank you very much.
So one of the things is Prabhupada is answering very nice question that we all may have. Like if we are searching for spiritual master, then we have to be sincere because God Krishna is in our heart. Ishvara Sarvabhutana Hridaya Sthita Arjuna. I am sitting in everyone's heart. Hridaya Tishtati. I am sitting in everyone's heart. And Krishna sees how sincere we are and he will take us to the right guru. So in our search of guru, hmm, we should uh, we should be sincere and we should purify our heart to ask the right thing. Then Krishna will be kind and he will direct us to the right guru. Hmm.
Thank you very much. My request to you is this. You are a poet. Just describe God. You are expert in describing, and therefore I ask you to kindly describe God in your occupation. Then your life will be successful. And if one hears you, his life will also be successful. This is the injunction. Idam hi pumshas tapsa shrutasya va श्वेतस्य शुक्तास्य च बुद्धिदातयो अभिच्युतो अर्थतः कविभिर्निरूपितो यत् उत्तमश्लोका गुणानुवर्ण वर्णनम श्रीमद्भागवतम 1.5.22. There are many leaders in society who are poets, scientists, religionists, philosophers, politicians, and so on. Those who are so expert are given in this injunction. Your duty is to perfect your occupation by describing the glories of the Supreme.
Yeah.
My experience
Wait,
is
wait,
that
wait, wait. Before that, we'll just go to this verse. What is this verse? Learned circles have positively concluded that the infallible purpose of the advancement of knowledge, namely austerity, study of the Vedas, sacrifice, chanting of hymns, charity, culminates in the transcendental description of the Lord, who is defined in choice poetry. See, Prabhupada in the purport also is saying the same thing. All the sages, devotees of the Lord, have recommended that the subject matter of art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, all other branches, mathematics, etc., should be wholly and solely applied in the service of the Lord. Art, literature, poetry may be used in glorifying the Lord. The fiction writers, poets, celebrated lit, lit, literators are generally engaged in writing sensuous subjects, but if they turn towards the service of God, of Lord, they can describe the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Valmiki was such a great poet. Vasudeva, a great writer. Both of them absolutely engaged themselves in delineating the transcendental activities of the Lord. With the purport also, Prabhupada is saying the same thing. Advanced people should eager to understand the absolute truth of the medium of science, and therefore a great scientist should endeavor to prove the scientists should endeavor to prove the existence of God on scientific basis. Similarly, philosophical speculation should be utilized to establish a supreme truth as sentient and all powerful. Now, this line, right, is a very important line. See, the word here is sentient and all powerful. Sentient means he's living, he's conscious. Okay, he's a person. God is a person, and he's all powerful. Why these 2 points are taken so important by Prabhupada? All these philosophical speculators, they should explain these 2 points only. He's a living person and he's all powerful. Why do you think these 2 points only should be like the focus, main focus? Any thoughts on this? Sentient and all powerful.
Yeah, because so many different forms in which people worship, and most of them believe in the impersonal forms, Hinduism or otherwise also.
See, sometimes
Oh,
people say God is energy,
yeah,
then suddenly it becomes non-sentient.
yeah. God is within
Sentient is a
everything.
person.
God
Then
is
some
everywhere.
people, he may not be all powerful because so many bad things are happening. Or second thing is like, oh, he takes avatar. That means he comes under Maya. So all powerful means his Maya is under him. So to defeat the Mayavadi philosophy, these both points are very important. His person and he's all powerful. Okay, let's go back to our discussion.
My experience is that for some extraordinary reason, one is chosen to do a particular thing.
That reason is given here. Avichyut, Avichyuta. The infallible choice is this. Let them describe the glories of the Lord.
But you are saying that the spiritual master is chosen. The spiritual master, the poet, the priest is chosen by God. This person is chosen to write poems or paint pictures or make music.
So when you compose music about God, that is your perfection.
When one works for God in his line, then his line becomes his perfection.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So now he understands, okay, when he works for God, then his line becomes perfect. So when Karma Yoga is directed towards Krishna, then it is perfect. See, Karma Yoga, yoga means to connect. So that karma needs to be connected to the Supreme, then it becomes perfect. So, okay. So it's almost 8:30 now. Let's stop for any questions or comments. Anyone has any questions or comments? Questions, comments?
Nothing from today's session, probably.
Hmm. Anyone? Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here and tomorrow we'll continue with chapter 8. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.